Hey, it's Birdman for Birdman on the Mountain, hanging out in the Heritage Room. We've got a special edition here today. We're going to be talking to a bunch of different people from the city of Show Low and from the Timber Mesa Fire and Medical District, talking about the 4th of July. I think I'm going to make Carrie go first. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. Events have been going well, huh?
Been going great.
Cool.
A little busy this week, but as should be expected.
Yeah. So what do we got going on? What's the big things that we want everybody to know about?
Well, of course, my biggest event coming up here is the 4th of July. So we have our 4th of July Patriotic and Freedom Fest. Parade kicks off at 9 a.m. down the Deuce of Clubs. Everybody's going to start out on Owens, travel down Deuce of Clubs, eastbound there, down to White Mountain Road, and then they'll just tuck in there on Hall in front of the Kentucky Fried Chicken. So everybody pulls into City Hall to destage and unload off their floats. So anywhere there along that route is great. Even there in front of the KFC and along that corner is a great spot to catch the parade.
See all the cool stuff that's going on, right?
Yeah, we always have such great participants. We have people that come back every year. We have Dairy Queen. They pass out those tokens for a free soft serve. They toss out 5,000 of those every year, which is amazing. We have the rat rods, Dr. Jarman that brings out his rat rods. They're all customized, spider webs in the windows. We've got so much fun stuff. The skid steer, we've got the rodeo queens, our grand marshal, of course, which this year we're representing a lot of our agencies. So we'll have representatives there from Timber Mesa, Navajo County Sheriffs, our very own Show Low PD, of course, and then Pinetop Lakeside PD will be our grand marshal. So we're honoring those guys that do so much for us every year, and a little tribute this year in the parade. So that's 9 a.m. Of course, no throwing candy from the floats, but you can have curbside walkers. And believe it or not, we are still taking registrations. So if you can get those applications into me, Friday's the absolute deadline. But you can find them on our website. You can email or fax me or just give us a call at 532-4140, and we will get that to you.
Yeah, and then, so no throwing of candy. And the other thing you can't do is you can't squirt water at people on rides, and they're not squirting water.
Correct.
You did that a few years ago, and everybody's still confused. They think that still exists, but
we
that happens at a different time.
Yeah, you can do that at home, but
Yes.
We no longer have a wet zone during the parade.
Okay.
So we're keeping everything dry, no squirting water on anybody, please. Following the parade, however, we have created our own little wet zone event. So at approximately 11:30 till about 2 o'clock, we'll be out at Frontier Park, which is just there on the opposite side of 9th Street, just behind the Navajo County building. We'll have Timber Mesa Fire will be there with their truck, squirting off the water there, and we'll have all the sprinklers on the field going, slip and slides, lots of fun water activities. So bring the kids out in their suits to the parade. Let them stock up on candy and enjoy all that fun and excitement. Help us celebrate Independence Day. And then head over to Frontier Park, and they can get soaked and wet and have fun there. And then they can go home, dry off, and meet us back out at the high school for Freedom Fest.
Very cool. Awesome.
Sunscreen for the parade. They can wash it off at the wet zone.
There
Excellent
you go.
suggestion.
They're going to be in their suits. Make sure you put them in some sunscreen.
Yeah.
It is going to be a hot one, I'm sure. So, yes.
The safety official speaking up there.
That's an excellent suggestion. Make sure you bring that sunblock. There is always people out there, some selling, some giving away bottles of water, but bring your water, bring your sunblock. Make sure you're prepared to sit out there. The parade usually actually does last a couple hours, an hour and a half to 2 hours. So yes, you definitely want to make sure, and we all know how hot it's been. So
yeah, quite a bit.
Sunblock's important.
The other thing I want to mention is just that people set up their stuff the night before, or so.
So awesome. I probably nobody enjoys that more than me, but I love that. I love driving down the road on the 3rd and seeing all those chairs. The PD probably doesn't love that because they're up on the sidewalks. Yeah, I apologize, Roby. But they're up on the sidewalk and I see it and I'm like, yes, we're going to have a great turnout. People, it encourages me, and I love it that this community is so great about supporting our parade, and they come out.
My largest concern with that is just that there's a lot of people moving around on the sides of the road there, when there's heavy traffic. That's my largest concern is, all in that right of way and people on the sidewalks next to the road. Just making sure you be careful. I mean, unfortunately, I think a lot of people come around and think that they're in the small town and everything's, going to be okay. And you don't want to destroy a good holiday with something tragic. So just make sure that you're paying attention. It's not everybody else's job to watch out for you. It's your job to pay attention to. So,
And those when you're putting things up on the sidewalk and putting up in the corners, you got to be aware of where you're putting things. Don't obstruct viewpoints and stuff like that, because I've seen it where they put things all the way up in the corners, and you go to pull up the good intersection, it's still active, and you're like, okay, now it's very hard. Plus, you've got all these people moving around and things going on. So slow down a little bit, take it easy. But yeah, and if you're putting that stuff out there, be aware that there is wind, and things can blow out into that's a regular roadway. So just be aware of it. And if you park your vehicle, also be aware of where you're parking it and where it might roll down a hill and stuff like that. just those safety concerns.
technically, there is a city code violation for parking on a sidewalk. So,
Yeah. So
and it's a hefty fine.
so
So do not park on the sidewalk.
don't park on the sidewalk. Yeah, not a cool thing. So let's talk about a little bit of the logistics with Sergeant Roby, since he's here. And why don't you tell us a little bit about some of the things that people need to know, like when does a road close, where are the bypass, those kind of things.
Okay. Well, before I get into all that, just the basics are not only bring water and sunscreen, but bring your patience. I always say that. I can't say it enough. Everyone needs to bring their patience. This is a trying time for us working the parade, trying to make sure that everybody's safe. It's summertime. We have all our summer visitors up here. The traffic is crazy. So make sure you're wearing your seatbelt. Make sure you're patient, and understand that this is what's going to happen. But we're going to start shutting the roads down probably about 8:40ish. We're going to set the detour route in place, and the detour route, if you're coming in from Globe or Heber on Highway 60, they'll take you down Whipple to Wolford, and then that will put you back out onto 260, and you can get to the east ends of town or that way. So you can either that, or you can go to Pine Top, or if you're continuing on Springerville and those kinds of things, you'll be able to go through there. If you're coming the other direction, it's going to shut you off right at White Mountain Road and 60. So you'll go down 260 to Wolford, make a right on Wolford, bring it up to Whipple, and then Whipple will take you back out to the west side of town. So that's the two directions that the route's going to go. And understand all the other collector streets are closed all the way down the Deuce of Clubs. We always have people who need to get to Walmart and pick up a prescription, or they've got to get something from Safeway. Just understand we do this every year. The roads close during that time, so either go well beforehand or wait till it's over, because you're not going to be able to get through there, and you're just going to create more of a problem than you're going to help. And just plan ahead for those kinds of things. So lots of traffic. Just watch your speeds, wear your seatbelt, make sure you're paying attention, and be prepared for these. And then, of course, that night is the fireworks. That is a huge night to bring your patients. I am not going to kid you that it's going to take you every bit of 45 minutes to get out of those fireworks.
If that, I mean, geez, that's fast.
And well, it is, and that's what it was last year. But
wow.
Basically what we do is we take the two exits and routes out of that school. We only let them go certain directions, and everybody spills out and feeds out from there. And we try to keep the traffic moving as much as we can to do that. But I think last year it took us probably a good solid 45 minutes before we were at a point that we could kind of let it go.
And I lived to that neighborhood that's just to the, what is that, east of that, or east
Correct.
of that.
Yeah,
That I've seen now, it takes about an hour and a half for people to get out of there, because they come into our streets, and that's one thing you got to be aware is there's people in that area too. We get people to start driving their car in and out and in and out and in and out. There's a lot of people walking around. They're almost treating it like it's the football field. So they're not aware that there's going to be a car flying down there. It's a 25 mile per hour or less speed limit in the first place. So, yeah, please be patient, and we don't. Would be the worst thing to have happen is you're gone all day and done like that, and like you said, if you're not drinking water and you're dehydrated, and then you decide to partake in some alcoholic beverages, that's the best way to really dehydrate yourself and whack yourself out. So be smart.
Right.
Yeah. Cool.
Last year, I felt that 45 minutes seemed like one of the fastest years we've gotten people out of there. So it just really seemed to have a great flow. I think for that amount of people that are in there, Like Roby said, just bring your patients. It's it's a community event. We've got lots of people out there, and I did just want to mention really quickly on as far as road closures are concerned, we do have that Owens blocked off because all of our parades. All of our floats, are staged in the park. So they're all exiting off of Owens and coming out onto the Deuce of Clubs. So that little site of Safeway there, just please use the other entrances while the roads are still
Right.
open. We usually have people trying to sneak out on that side of Safeway out of the Owens like they're used to. And we have that one little section blocked off. Just getting ready. We've got floats out there lining up to proceed onto the Deuce of Clubs. So, please be understanding with us. It's a great holiday. It's a great event. We want everybody to be safe and have a great time. But yes, we need to do what we need to do, and the PD does a great job of keeping everybody safe. So be respectful and understand that they're out there trying to protect everybody too. So.
And Carrie, your point on Owens is a point that's well made that we've struggled with from time to time is people that do live here or whatever, they know kind of how they can sneak around the back way and still try to get to Safeway, which is Owens, and that doesn't work during this time frame. So please don't try to do that because you're just going to get jammed up back there. Also, if you're going to go to Safeway before the parade, make sure that you're out of there by 8:30 or less because, again, it's so congested and so backed up down there. We run into people all the time that are trying to get out of there or whatever and want to go a certain way, and we just can't accommodate that once we close it down. So
Yeah, just plan that shopping trip for a little earlier or a little later, and we can all have a great parade.
Very cool. So anything else from you two?
I can touch on Freedom Fest if you don't
Yes,
mind.
please do that. Yes.
Okay. So really quickly, Freedom Fest out at the Sholo High School, which is 500 West Old Linden, kicks off at 3 o'clock. We've got live bands going all night. We have locals' favorite Strange Brew, Arizona Blacktop, Plum Crazy, Drew Cooper and the Cavalry. We do, the Sholo High School choir comes out and sings a couple songs for us. We have a flag raising ceremony. We announce the parade winners. It's a great night. We've got rock walls, bounce houses, obstacle courses, wrecking balls. We brought in some more teen activities or older kid activities. Unlimited rides all night are $10, which is 3 to 8:30 p.m. We're basically closing down at 8:30, trying to get everybody a little bit out of the lines before the lights go down at 9 for the fireworks. But we're not going to kick you out of line at exactly 8:30. We'll let you funnel through if you're already in line. Fireworks do go down the lights do go down at 9 for the fireworks, which is an amazing display. We have just before the grand finale this year, we have a fallen officer tribute, so please look forward to that. It's something that is new to us this year, and I think it's going to be really touching. Our firework display is amazing, so Timber Mesa is great about doing that for us every year, so we can't thank them enough. But it's a wonderful display, and there's no place to see it other than out there on the field. It's literally right overhead, and it's just a beautiful experience. So come help us celebrate Independence Day. We've got great food vendors, so much fun. It's from 3 to 10 o'clock out at high school for Freedom Fest.
Very cool. Awesome. And as you said, pack your patience.
right. And lastly, I know you're going to go and talk to Kirk from the fire department. I can't stress enough fireworks, fire restrictions, those kinds of things that he's going to talk about. I'm just enforcing them from a law enforcement perspective. There's no tolerance for that whatsoever.
Zero.
We can't have the fires here and so on. So we will be enforcing that, and he'll talk to you more about that as we get into the next section, I guess.
Very cool. So I'm going to switch it out, bring in a couple other people. So hold on, and we'll be right back in just a second. Okay, still hanging out here in the Heritage Room, and joining with me now, of course, is Jay Brimhall and Mr. Kirk Webb. How are you?
Doing great, thanks.
So we're going to continue talking about 4th of July, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Cool.
Let's do it.
Very awesome. So, Kirk, why don't you weigh in on the items that you want to make sure people understand?
Well, just like was stressed before, patience. I can't stress that enough that it's going to be a good time. The weather actually is looking pretty decent. At that time, I think it's only showing about 78 degrees.
Yeah, it's starting to cool down, yeah.
At 10 o'clock in the morning, so it's a slight breeze, but we're going to have lots of sunshine. So make sure bring umbrellas, sunscreen, lots of water, hydrate. Don't, every year we seem to have somebody that passes out, things like that. We are going to, as far as I know, we're scheduled to still have our bike crews. So we have medics, EMTs that'll be riding the bikes up and down the path. So be able to help out quickly, and if we need a transport, we have it that built into where we can get an ambulance in and out. So, but yeah, just enjoy the day. Take the time, just like what's the old saying? Stop and smell the roses.
There you go.
Don't get in a hurry. So people, it's so funny to people, using their gestures and hand gestures and facial expressions and showing disgust, and it's like, what, just slow down and enjoy the day and have fun. There's a lot of cool things that are happening. The fireworks, the city purchases a great amount of stuff for us to be able to put on a good show.
Very cool. Awesome. Yeah, and of course the sunscreen thing and the water, so you don't have to maybe go and rescue some people, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So, Jay, what do you got?
Well, I just wanted to reiterate our partnership with Timber Mesa Fire, and I don't know, in the last couple of years, it just seems like it's gotten closer and better, and we are working well with each other, and that kind of lends itself well to what Kurt's saying. We need to be very careful, to be patient, and to be kind of courteous to our visitors who are here, not necessarily with us all year. And we all want to do the same things. We want to celebrate America. We want to have a good time with our families. We want to stay safe. And all those things can be enabled if we just kind of back up a little bit and kind of remember what the day's about. And like Carrie said, just want to reiterate, before the finale is when the tribute to our fallen officers is going to happen. So if you listen to this podcast, pay special attention towards the end of the show. The show's generally about 26, 27 minutes. So around 25, 24 minutes, be paying attention for the special volley. Or actually, it's going to be a series of volleys that are going to contain a lot of blue. And that's for Officer Reed and all the other fallen heroes that have passed in the line of duty. And also for their brothers who are still on the streets and making those choices to keep us safe today. So it's a special time. We're working hand in hand with our public safety guys, and they're great. They've got a lot to deal with. So if you can make their life less complicated, choose to do so. We're Americans. That's part of the deal. I mean, we live with each other. We let each other, do our own things, and we come together on a wonderful day to celebrate being able to do our own thing together.
Yeah, and remember, the freedom thing is a big thing. Everybody's like, well, it's free, we're free, and with freedom comes responsibility. Yeah. And the more freedom we gain, the more personal responsibility we accept upon ourselves. So, be conscious of that, and be wary of others, and make sure that you're being respectful of them as much as you want them to be respectful of you, and then everybody doesn't have any issues. But yeah, the patience, and use your head and be smart about things. I always kid about holidays. Everybody's like, "Oh, you're gonna go drink?" And I'm like, "Well, no, because that's when all the amateurs go drink." And no,
that's right.
So it's when all the amateurs drunks hit the road. So let's not do that.
Yeah.
Not that there's a professional drunk, but anyways.
And hopefully, we don't have any kind of emergency during when we're exiting, and ingress, egress issues. But if that does happen, remember to pull to the side.
Yeah.
Pull to the right. We still see people all the time that are confused and don't know what to do when they see an emergency vehicle with their lights on.
What do I do?
Yeah. And
this is one of the better areas I've ever lived in the United States, that people do get out of the way.
Exactly.
Even on a 5-lane road, they'll go all the way over
I
curb and
I
stop.
lived in South Texas, and, it was a completely foreign concept to pull over.
Oh, wow.
And us being from Arizona, being down there and seeing it, we were like, what is going on? And so living in a place, like Rob said, that does respect that's a good thing.
And, these guys and girls, they're out there, they're working all day long. Some of them are overtime and doing things like that. They're giving up their holiday. It's July 4th. Nobody wants to have to work on July 4th, so they're working on July 4th. Keep that in mind.
And we're bringing everybody in because right now we actually have crews out on, I think we're at 3 crews out on fires.
Wildland fires.
So that puts a stress on the rest of us because we have to now fill in those gaps where those are, where they're gone. And, and we're dealing with that. We're in that time where we're looking at maybe going to stage 2 restrictions. But, like Shawn Roby was talking about with stage 1, even in stage 1 restrictions, that no fireworks at all.
Yeah.
So people coming up think that, oh, hey, cool, I can get these fireworks and I can come set them off up here. But no, they're not allowed. We're not even allowing them to be sold in the stores. So if you're seeing them out there, don't use those things. It's a good.
My wife was down in the valley last week, and she chose to go down during the hottest week of the entire year.
Great job. The valley. Congrats.
Extenuating circumstances.
Yeah.
But she came back with some fireworks, and I'm like, Melissa, you do realize that your husband works for the city, right? And we don't even let the kids see him because they're, be smart, guys.
Yeah.
Be smart.
When
those who live here and those who are coming from out of town, please be smart.
And I want to point out one other thing because I saw it happen again last year, and you think people would catch up on this, but sparklers. Those things are super idiotically hot, and I saw it last year. A kid, reaches up, grabs it, and it's it's phosphor, so it actually stays on you until it burns all the way out, and you can't put it out. So
I think if I remember right, the temperatures are 1,100 to 1,300 degrees with those
brutal.
sparklers.
Yeah, so it's the most painful kind of burn, So
we're not saying don't do them, just
be aware of how they work. That's the big part. Yeah.
Yep. And we live in a beautiful place. We want to keep it that way. And
we like the people here.
We want those who are visiting to be able to come back next year and the following year and the year after that. So let's all work together. Again, talk about togetherness. Let's utilize our liberty in a very proactive way. And
what was the guess on how many people were at last year's parade? It was like 20,000.
I think it was upwards of 25. Yeah, it was because it was on a Monday, and everybody turned it into a long weekend. It turned into just an unbelievably thick crowd of people, which is wonderful, which is what we want, which is great. It's great for the local economy and the businesses and everything. But without what brings people here, there is none of the rest of that stuff.
It's not going to happen.
So let's be smart.
Awesome. Cool. Anything else from you two gentlemen?
I just really appreciate Kirk and his crew and Timber Mesa Fire. They've, again, for this 4th of July, they've been indispensable partners. Putting up, doing the fireworks show and making sure, we're in compliance with all the state, local, federal laws. It's just been a great thing that's gotten better. So appreciate you guys.
And it's not just us at Timber Mesa Fire. We also include we bring in these other agencies to help us because we have to put people as watchers, looking for spot fires because this stuff does travel. And so we got to make sure that we keep everything around in the fallout zone safe.
Yeah.
We recommend people don't put your tents and camps, where you're going to watch you stay out of the fallout zone, which is typically a little bit to the east of the baseball field where we set them off. But enjoy the show. It's a great show. I know Heber brags that theirs is the best in Arizona, but I'll beg to differ.
We'll beg to differ, exactly. Yeah, awesome. And I want to call out the fact that, you look at a fire district, you look at fire departments, or whatever you want to call it, and those are all guys and gals that are all trained to go out and put out fires. This guy, his job is to keep them from getting started in the first place.
Yeah.
So thanks for that. We appreciate that.
Yeah, some of my guys kind of get mad at me sometimes. You're doing your job too good, but that's okay.
Good.
But that's what it's all about. Prevention starts with education.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you once again, Kirk Webb with Timber Mesa Fire and Medical District, and of course, the illustrious
Blue-shirted Jay.
Blue-shirted Jay.
Right? Yeah. Blue Jay.
What is your position?
I'm the Community Services Director.
Community Services Director. I always forget that because I just know it's Jay Brimhall.
You meet so many people. I can't imagine that you can keep it all straight. But overall, the wonderful events that we have, and Carrie actually works under my stewardship, and she's a great asset to the city and does great things.
Very cool.
So,
Well, that's going to be it from here at Heritage Hall in Show Low City Hall, and it's Heritage Room, but we'll make it into a hall. It seems really
good.
big.
It is.
Looks
Kinda
big on
hallish.
TV. Cool. I'm Birdman, and I will not be seeing you around town because I've got a baby coming. So I'll see you
The
right
stork
here.
will be visiting.
I'll see you right here on the web.